Hello and welcome to Ask MAndRproductions episode 118, and I did a thing. Oh, how I've missed my beautiful, beautiful Imperial shuttle. This thing is just absolutely gorgeous. I know you guys love this set. It is my favorite LEGO Star Wars set ever. It is amazing. It'll be back on the shelf back there, I think, on the right of me. However, I'm gonna probably have to get rid of Apocalypseburg to make a room for it, so I'm probably put that out in the garage, but this is back, and I am just very excited. I need a hug. Let's answer some questions. If you have a question for next week, you can leave it down in the comments section below. But our first question comes from Patriot 11H, and he says, seeing the new Ideas Pirate set, what other old non-licensed theme that should get an Ideas set as well? And that, to me, I think would have to be either a castle, like just classic castle, something like that would be amazing. And I think we're kind of getting something like that with the blacksmith shop, or Western. I think Western could also lend itself very well to a large Ideas type set, maybe a little on the cheaper end, like $120, but I would also like to see Western return in some way, shape, or form. Adam says, what are your top 3 Star Wars duel scenes / battle? So in no particular order, I have the Battle of Endor, which is just amazing. AT-ATs everywhere. I'm all for it. Just one of my favorite all-time memories of watching that the first few times when I was younger. Really enjoyed that one. Of course, Anakin versus Obi-Wan in episode 3 is definitely gonna have to be up there. That is an epic scene. Just so much going on. It's so lengthy, and I really love that scene as well. I remember watching that in the theaters and just fell in love with Star Wars, I think, right then and there. And I don't think I can really pick a good third for this, but I will say that the final Exegol battle was pretty emotional, of course, with Kylo Ren and Rey, so that one might get a nod in there, but definitely the first two that I mentioned, the Exegol one is more of a fringe choice. Becca says, how do you feel about live-action Ahsoka in Season 2 of Mandalorian? So I think it's nice, I guess, that she will be, in the flesh. However, can we stop putting Ahsoka in, everything Star Wars? Ahsoka has been, I don't want to say shoehorned, because maybe it works in the story, I don't know, but and maybe she'll just be there for a fleeting moment and everything will be okay. But she's in Rebels, she's in Clone Wars, she's probably in Resistance, which I haven't really watched, that or she died before that, I don't know. She's just in too much, in my opinion, and then they're gonna put her in Mandalorian. I wanted Ahsoka, and it would have made a lot more sense for Ahsoka to die right at the end of the Clone War, right before Episode 3 started. That's when Ahsoka should have died, because she had no consequence on the movie. She's basically an insignificant character as far as the overall arc of the Skywalker saga goes, that period of time, right? Because she's not in any of the movies until this stuff that's being kind of retrofitted in there now. So not a fan of that at all. Too much Ahsoka, probably a bad thing. All Hail Kiwi says, have you ever witnessed a Florida man? The one thing that comes to mind is maybe the time I witnessed a Florida man, and you'd think it'd be more common, but it was in 2017, I think, and it's actually on a video on my channel here. And I saw a guy getting arrested. I don't know why this is the one time I think back to seeing a Florida man, but it is the time I think back to seeing a Florida man. And that video got a lot of, it was buying cheap Lego at Walmart and person gets arrested. And that was the title of my video. And people were like, this is clickbait. It's no, a person clearly got arrested in the video. You see him getting tackled. So that's the one time I think I've seen a Florida man IRL, but I don't know. Brick's Fleet says, will you get the new Lego Ideas set? Pirates Bay. It's not out as of the recording of this video. It comes out tomorrow on April 1st, but I'm probably going to buy it. I've been back and forth on it a few times in my mind, and I think I'm going to buy it. I'm going to experience, and then when I'm done with it, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to get rid of it because I definitely don't have space for it, and I don't really love the black and yellow color of the pirate ship. And I know it's supposed to be a nod to an older Lego pirate set, and that's a great thing, but it's not for me. So I'm going to try it out, but I'm probably not going to end up keeping the set, so if that makes any sense to y'all. Anime Outlet says, do you think it is possible to build a Lego set backwards by going from the back page of the instructions to the front? So when I first read your question, I was like, oh my god, this is the best video idea ever. And then I thought, well, not really, because basically if you're building it backwards in the instructions, it's just as good as looking at the finished picture, right? So I mean, basically you're asking, can you build a set from just looking at pictures of the set? If I got, how about, it'd be a good challenge, maybe something a little bit, so I don't think the way you have phrased it is very good when I've thought about it a little bit more. Maybe building a set just looking at the set's box would be a more interesting challenge, and maybe that's something I might be open to trying, because that does sound kind of fun. So I do like trying to build sets without instructions. I do it with battle packs sometimes, just when I'm building by myself. Like I would do it with the old Clone Walker battle pack back in the day when I got a bunch of those. Like, it's just like, you know how to build it. It's like 20 pieces, like just do it, right? So I could try that one of these days. Samuel says, hey Ryan, where do you store your sealed sets? A lot of them get stored in the garage. Like, they're just in the garage. It's an absolute disaster out there. I ain't taking y'all out there. One of these days you'll get to see it, but yes, I store them in the garage, usually in like cabinets, and some are out on tables and stuff. So it's a bit of a mess, but most of them get stored out there, either being ready to be built, or that's just where they're being saved for my collection. Or actually, I keep some in my closet here that I'm saving for my collection. Squidman says, why don't you use the stories on YouTube? I just don't see a use for them on YouTube. I use the stories feature on Instagram, and I think that's good enough. I don't think YouTube needed to add stories, but maybe I should be using it. Maybe it's just something I'm missing out on, but just not for me. Lightning Cuber says, whatever happened in building HOF and Lego? And just like every mock I've ever failed with, I got lazy and stopped caring about it, and so I stopped making it. So yeah, that's what happened basically. I mean, I just stopped making the mock. Maybe one day I'll get to build Hoth again, maybe when I like move out or something crazy like that, when I actually have space. But I just kind of quit on it, like a lot of mocks that I try to make it, just that's how it ends up. Jack says, why do you buy Lego sets you don't like? For example, Jyn Erso buildable figures. I didn't buy the Jyn Erso buildable figures. People sent them to me, first off. And second off, I buy Lego sets I don't like, usually because I don't know I don't like them before I buy them, right? But like, maybe for example, the First Order ATST. I like Lego Star Wars, and I want to have every Lego Star Wars set. I'm gonna have all of the sets, even the bad ones, right? So that's kind of my rationale. Like, even though I don't like it, like, I still appreciate it for being a bad Lego Star Wars set, right? Like, I can still enjoy it for it being bad. So that's kind of the way I look at that sometimes. Usually there's a lot of sets that I don't like that I don't buy. You're picking out one very small example of a time where I ended up getting a set that I didn't like, but usually the sets that I don't like, I don't buy. It just happens sometimes. Pacarb Studio says, what would you say if Lego made a double-sided stud? Dude, that would just like break the world, right? It might just create a black hole. Wouldn't that be insane? Honestly, I'm really surprised they haven't, though. It just seems like a logical thing for them to make, although I don't really see a practical use for the piece. Like, in what context would the piece be used in a Lego set, which is what Lego would probably ask themselves if they wanted to create such a part, and I'm really hard-pressed to think of any actual practical use for that you can't get out of like a 1x1 brick with studs on each side. Clement says, when do you think they'll release a second part of Obi Wans Hut? So obviously this is not like a guarantee. You're saying it like they announced that this is going to be happening. But you reminded me that this is a thing, that they've kind of left the door open with Obi Wans Hut. They kind of like left some open connections on that set that kind of imply that maybe in the future there'll be something you can connect to it. And I think it's possible that we could see it in early 2021. Maybe. It would be kind of cool. Do I think it's actually going to happen? Probably not. I think it's wishful thinking that Lego would actually do something like that, but I wouldn't say no if there's like another Tatooine set that comes out next spring or winter, and it is able to be connected to Obi Wan's Hut. But again, I think that's wishful thinking, but who knows? Apprentice Brick asks a question that would be much more appropriate in October. He says, do you still go trick-or-treating? No, I haven't been trick-or-treating in quite a while. BLS Brick says, why didn't you upload on Thursday the 26th? What happened to no days off? I bought a car. I was a little bit busy the day before, and I bought a car, and yeah, no video got done, and I bought a car, and it is amazing. Like, I talked about this on MAndRproductions, I don't know how long ago, but I talked about like what my dream car was, right? And it was a Ford Mustang, EcoBoost Premium, like leather seats, but in my video I said red leather seats. I ended up not getting red leather seats. It was a lot cheaper to not get red leather seats, as it turns out. But literally, I think everything else is exactly the same, and I'm perfectly fine with the black leather. I don't feel like it was like a compromise. So the vlogs just got a little bit spicier. Who knows? I won't be drag racing anything or anything. I don't plan on doing anything crazy. I just wanted it because I thought it looked nice, and I went to Tampa and bought it, and I'm very excited now. Like, I'm just getting giddy sitting here, but there's nowhere to drive. Like, I don't go to the gym, and I'm not going to see my friend. Like, I have nowhere to go, so I can't really drive it right now. So it just kind of sits in the driveway, and then when I go out to, like, shoot the basketball around, I'm like, damn, whose car is that? And I'm like, oh, wait, it's mine. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. So, yeah, one dream down. Check. few more to go. Gecko Player says, have you ever tried fishing? If yes, do you like it? I have been fishing before. However, I'm a bit squeamish, I guess. I guess that's the word for it. I don't touch the fish. Nope. No. Just no. Cast the line, pull the fish in, and then I'm like, gotta have someone else take care of the fish if I catch a fish. So I don't fish very often, maybe like on vacation or whatever, and then they'll throw them back in the pond or the river or the lake or whatever. But yeah, it's fun to do, but I don't enjoy like touching the fish, so I don't do that. And so for that reason, I don't do it very often. Wise One says, what is the smallest Lego set ever made? And this kind of got me thinking. It's a really hard question to answer. There are some really small, and I'm thinking box sets, right? Like there's like a really small, I guess maybe the smallest one that comes to mind is like a soccer goal promo in the video. The only reason I really know about it is because Just Too Good did a video on it and called it like the worst Lego set ever, I think. And I'm pretty sure it's just one piece in a poly bag, so that might be the smallest Lego set ever. I think like some of the smaller box sets might be from like Lego Pirates or something, where it's like just a cannon with a minifigure like in a box. But that's a really hard question to answer. I mean, you'd literally have to look at every Lego set ever, and you'd have to qualify it in some way. Like technically, I guess the brick separator is a Lego set, right? It comes in a poly bag. Like what defines a Lego set? So I think that's a tough question to answer when you don't have any like strict guidelines to actually answer that, because otherwise it's the brick separator, right? It's literally one piece. Lego sells it, and it comes in a bag. It's a Lego set for all intents and purposes as far as Lego is concerned for what they're selling, but maybe it's an accessory. I don't know. The Bot says, what is one thing you wish Lego would do differently? And this is a really interesting question, because there's probably a lot of things I would want Lego to do differently, but I really wish they would listen to their fans. Like, I just really wish that. I know they do, like, the Lego Ideas thing, and they do some of the fan polls every once in a while, but, like, if your community asks for a thing, like the 501st Battle Pack or whatever it may be. I'm sure there's tons of other things that much smaller portions of the community ask for. Like, you don't have to bend over to, like, the every ask and whatnot, but, like, for the love of God, like, where is the 501st Battle Pack? It's not even, like, a joke. Like, it seems like a meme, but, like, I'm very serious. Like, people want this. And Lego's just, like, turned a blind eye to it, and it's really sad. That is, I would say, listen to their fans better. A lot of you guys would probably say, lower their prices, but no, like, they can charge whatever. Like, they charge market value. If the prices they were charging were too high, they would be on sale a lot, because nobody, like, it's just how it works. It's economics. The Arkham Nerd says, have you ever been asked to stop filming in a store before? No, I have not. I'm usually pretty discreet about it, and I use my phone, and most people have their phone in stores anyway, so I don't think anyone thinks anything of it if I'm just kind of walking around with my phone, right? So it's not like I show up with the camera that I'm using to film now, and then I'll show you guys exactly what I'm using to film now, so you know what I'm talking about. That, wait a second. I'm like, it's pointing at me. That camera. It's not like I show up with this camera and then, like, I'm filming stuff in the store. So, yeah, I've never been asked to stop filming in a store. Like, it's usually fine. I'm pretty discreet about it. I don't, I'm not like, oh my God, I'm not, like, causing a ruckus or anything. I'm just like, hey, this is what's at the store today, and this is this, and whatever. So, it's usually fine. I've never had a problem. I've been swapping out camera batteries this whole filming session because my batteries keep dying. I'm like, throw that one on the charger, swap it out, throw this one on the charger. All right, Jim Blade says, I know you said no Tom Brady questions, but what was your favorite Tom Brady memory? Oh, God, gotta put me in my feels late at night here. I think Super Bowl 51. I think the Super Bowl when they were down 28-3 has to be, like, I know it's not like a singular Tom Brady moment, right? It's not one throw, it's not one play, but the culmination of that game was an absolute emotional roller coaster that I will probably never get to experience again. Like, you hype yourself up for 2 weeks, your team's going to the Super Bowl, and then they completely drop the ball. Like, you have this moment where Tom Brady throws a pick six, and then he falls on the ground, and they go down 21-3. And at that point, I thought it was over. I'm, down 21-3. It's like, damn. And then they go down 28-3, and it's like, double damn. And then, I always have that glimmer of hope. I watch Celtics games like this too, where I'll be like, oh, but if they get a 3 now and a stop and another 3 and a stop and another 3, like, it's like all these impossible scenarios. And then the impossible scenario actually played out in the Patriots game, and I'm like, holy crap, this is happening. They're down 28-3, And I'm just like, well, it's like this, you know, you score, you get some 2-point conversions, you get some field goal, and then you're tied. And it's like, well, what if that happened? And then all of a sudden they start scoring, and then it's like, well, if they need a turnover here. And then just that game to me is just incredible. And I don't rewatch sports games. Like, I think that's a weird thing to do for the most part. Like, you already know what's going to happen. How is it fun to watch, right? I'll watch like highlights or whatever, but I'll never sit down and rewatch a whole game. I feel like that's the game, if I'm ever going to sit down and rewatch an entire football game, that's the one from start to finish. So Super Bowl 51, where they were down 28-3 to the Falcons, and all the memes that came of it, and the Edelman catch, and yeah, there's just a lot there. That was probably my favorite Tom Brady memory or game. And we'll end this on the somber note where I'm about to cry about Tom Brady. So thank you guys for watching episode 118 of Ask MAndRproductions. Of course, I'll see you back next week. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. Peace out.